The fight announcer said Lionheart is on fire people literally he's surrounded by some kind of white fire and then I said this is key energy Garo it's the life force energy that flows through every living thing it's the energy inside of you and today I want you to try and bring it out by a need not a desire and I ask you now what is it you want most in this world and need it more than anything and meditate on it set your mind on it let that be your strength and then bring your powers to the surface imagine the fire inside of you growing and then he said the only thing I wanted since I met you is to beat you or fight you as an equal and then I said focus on that and then he closed his eyes and then I felt his ki surge and he was now stronger than Majin Buu and even Frieza and then I saw blue fire around him and Garo opened his eyes and I said interesting it's blue and I wonder why and I clapped and I said congratulations Garo you now have true power and then Garo rushed me and for the first time in a long time a punch actually hurt me in my base form and then I started using Drish Shastra perfectly dodging Garo but slowly during the fight Garo started to use the ki in his brain to watch my movements and memorize them and he said this ki power is amazing but it's also causing strain on my body I can't keep this up but I bruised him a bit and I cut his face so that's something like what Moomin Rider did but better I think and as the fight continued I slowly started bringing out my true physical strength because I've been holding back for a reason for many years but today I have realized that it might have weakened my body a bit or maybe they are just getting stronger and I said maybe that's it and then I landed a blow on Garo and I nearly knocked him out and I said damn it I almost lost focus a bit I can't lose focus again or else I might accidentally kill someone and then suddenly I dodged Garo and he ran out of the ring after I pushed him out that got me a ring out victory and then after that I had to fight Dad so I took him seriously from the start and I transformed into my true form and then I moved so fast he couldn't see me and I knocked out Saitama again and I said sorry Dad but I just can't allow you to damage everything and then I was told next I'd be fighting Suiryu and when I fought Suiryu I decided to teach him a lesson so I started using Drish Shastra more perfectly and Suiryu could not touch me and I said what's wrong kiddo not fast enough and he said these movements are impossible how are you doing this it's ridiculous and I said it's difficult but not impossible and then I moved slowly for him to see all of my Drish Shastra movements and then Suiryu growled and grunted and he said I hate this fighting style I've been trying to master it for a while now it's bullshit and it's impossible no one can do this and then I decided to use dim mak on him and then I knocked him down and he said in his mind what the hell was that I couldn't move for a second and he said in his mind was that pressure point striking are his strikes that accurate and then Suiryu growled loudly and he got very angry and he said I hate you and then he tried to strike me but he couldn't land a single solid punch on me I just dodged all his strikes and he said what the hell kind of damn martial arts is and then I said it's the martial arts of a true master of all martial arts and then I struck Suiryu in the solar plexus and now he couldn't breathe and I sighed and said okay kid just give up I don't want to continue doing this and then I punched him and then Suiryu surrendered and he said I submit please no more and then the announcer said I'm the new champion of then I won my first tournament and then Guketsu finally showed up offering everyone monster cells including me and I looked at the monster cell and I knew it wouldn't do anything bad to me but make me stronger and probably bigger and then I thought maybe that's not a bad idea and then unlike the others whenever I ate the monster cell I remained human but when I transformed into a lion now I was now a lot taller and bigger then I transformed into a massive 2-story tall muscular tank of a lion and then Guketsu said damn now that's a monster a damn big one and then I smirked and said Guketsu former martial arts champion you think I don't know who you are and then I grabbed the other monster cells and I threw them to Bakuzan before anyone else could eat them and then I said eat them Bakuzan the rest of you stay where you are I'll handle this and then Bakuzan ate all the monster cells transforming himself into a giant grotesque monster and then I smirked and I said now you're my size let's fight and then I fought and killed Bakuzan with one punch and I said now for you Guketsu tell me where your boss is now and I might spare your life and he said you're cocky kid and then I said tell me now or I can beat it out of you and Guketsu tried to intimidate me.